Yes, Jani, you choose to play with 4 in the back, and you trained a little bit with 5 in Monday's training. What was the decision to play with 4?
Yeah, it's more like the system what we know. We should make a lot of adjustments how to build up with the back 5. So we decided to go with the back 4, and I think it was a good approach today. There was we structured the midfield a bit differently, so there was like basically it was a 4-3-2-1, just to avoid Chelsea using the middle, and then pretty much like when we did it, we were doing it okay. There was some structural problems in the first half, especially on our left side, but then we managed to correct it during the Jakob's injury, but then they pretty much used every time we left a bit space, they use it. So that was the quality difference that they every time found a spot if we didn't do our job like 100%, and then there was a bit overexcitement in the first half, like we opened the spaces, and then when we lose the ball we were a bit open, but then I think it was a good structure to go with in today's game with the current material what we have.
Jani, what would you say about your performance in general? Are you pleased with what the players did tonight?
Yeah, like overall, of course, like 4-1, it's like something I can't be totally pleased with, but then I'm especially happy with how we came up to the second half. I think we started it really well, and then what break it a bit down was the unnecessary goals what we conceded. It was a bit like something with caught us, but it was really important to get the 1 goal and get the spirit up, and it would have been really good to score the second one to keep the hopes up a bit more in the next leg. But then that's what I was really happy about. And then of course, like we managed to push them down, that they had to defend a bit lower. But then we started a bit stand in the last line. I don't know if we were tired, but then when we had the ball higher, we stopped a bit moving, and then there should have been a bit more dynamic movement to jump, not to stand in the last line, to come out and rotate the ball and make them move and find the spaces between. But we did a relatively okay second half, even though we pressed a bit higher and opened the spaces, and that is something what we in general in the start wanted to avoid, that Chelsea doesn't get into like open pitch attacks, and they had those moments a bit too much in the second half, but then but I think we managed from those quite well. But then really happy with the second half, like how we came 2-0 down and we came really bravely to the second half.
Hi, Jani. What do you think of Tobias Gulliksen's performance tonight?
He did a lot of hard work for us. We kept him in the second line, like he was not a winger, but he was more like a number 10. And then with Tope, it's like he got a bit overexcited, and like he was a bit attacking and pressing too much in the first half, and that opened the spaces. We managed to correct that after the first goal, and he did a good job after that. But then I think he's always the creative one for us, that he can keep the attacks a bit longer because he moves and he can keep the ball. It's really difficult to get the ball away from him. So I think only what was missing was the goal, but then he assisted really nice goal.
How do you feel about Isak scoring a goal and his development?
And he's a Chelsea fan also, so that's like maybe a dream come true for him. But I love Isak's energy, and like he's not afraid of anything. So have to like give him appreciation. He's now come in like 2 times in these Euro games and made a really nice impact. Like he moves a lot, and that is the activity like active player what we need in those moments when the rest of the team was a bit tired, and he gave us always a chance to keep the ball a bit longer in the final third. So I have to appreciate, but I especially like that he's not afraid of anything. So that's the good quality, and he can play several positions. I don't actually know what is his best position. Might be a number 10 eventually, but then I think he can play all the positions in like for us in like except the defense line.
Jani, what do you say about a couple of defensive mistakes that led to goals?
Yeah, those were a bit like unnecessarily, especially in the second half when Chelsea gave us clearly a momentum to get into the game back, and so it was really unfortunate that we conceded those like two moments, and then I don't like to normally like point out the mistakes in the way that I would start to blame the players, because normally mistakes comes if you try a bit too hard, and I never blame my players from those. And I always feel that if there's a mistake, we have to try to compensate it with the other teams. Like everybody's doing mistakes, so we just need a bit more support from the other players in those moments. But then they came in a bad moment for us, and then changed a bit the game and the flow, which was clearly for us. And then those things happen, and it's a shame that they came today.
You said that you maybe needed that second goal to keep the hopes up. What are your expectations going into the second leg now? And how do you motivate your players to keep working?
We go all in. We go all in. Like it's a tough week for us because we play on Sunday, and some of these players have to play that game also. But then I just like want my players to feel that what they did in the second half, that we can push Chelsea down, and if they are willing to give us the pitch so easily as they did in the second half, we have to do that a lot more in Stamford Bridge, and that's how we have to also force them to do mistakes. They didn't do much mistakes today, but then we have to like we need to keep the game clean sheet, and then goal by goal we have to like still keep believing. We know that it's a really high mountain to climb, but then that is the only way to approach that game.
Jani, how much do you think this match maybe will affect the derby on Sunday against AIK?
Yeah, I would be totally comfortable if there would be 1 day more between this game and the derby game, because that would maybe give us the, like, let's say, needed moments to recover. 2 days, it's always a disadvantage to the team who is more tired. We know that AIK is a really physical team. It will be a really physical game. But then luckily we have fresh players. But against AIK we will need a right approach to the game, because it's going to be a really broken game. A lot of set plays, a lot of long throw-ins, and then a game will be a lot of there will be maybe long pauses because it's a derby. So, but we have to just do everything to recover as fast as possible, and then find the best approach, and then maybe we will see that the team on Saturday in the training, that what is the situation. But now I think there was nice hunger when I took Keita Kosugi off to save him a bit for that game, and he was so upset about it that in this kind of game I take him out. And then I had to explain him 3 times that there was no more win for you in that game, that Victor did a good job to come in and replace him. So we need to find that kind of mentality to Sunday, that I want to fucking play, and I want to fucking win that game.
Do you think you have learned something? Do you you think you have learned something because it's very similar this time, like the last time after the Wien match, and just a couple of days later, a match against Hammarby?
I have learned basically that it's difficult. It's difficult, but then Hammarby was a different kind of game because Hammarby's way of playing gets you really tired, the same way as we got a bit tired today. So I think we have a good setup how to make the players recover better. But then it's not easy because you can't basically train with those players. So it's like I said, if there would be if there would be one day more, it would be much more easier. It's not easy, but then I don't like excuses. We have to do it and be showing up again on Sunday.
With that said, we reached the end of the press conference. Thank you all for coming.
Cheers.